Hey everybody, it's the Nitty Professor, and today we're going to talk about my brother, Daniel Lewis. Let me see if I can get this without a whole lot of reflection here. In any case, that's my brother. He was a great maker, creator, and one of the things that he managed to do with his talents as a tailor was to create this magical, fantastic world of safety where he could leverage his talents and create his own agency, because he was born in 1955 and was gay, and being gay in that age and in the place where he ended up in Auburn, Alabama, was a big challenge. So my sister Nancy is here, and we're just going to kind of go through and discuss his creations here. Tell me about this doll. So this is the Jean doll?
Yes, this is the Jean doll. She's supposed to be a 1940s doll, which I guess would be kind of the Dior new look era.
Okay.
And in fashion, that was a big turning point in the fashion industry.
Post-World War II?
It was post-war, I believe, yes. And I don't know very much about it, but it was my brother Dan's favorite fashion era.
It's an interesting era because one of the things I've read recently was that women were so empowered during World War II with all the work ethic and working to really make a contribution, that men were all of a sudden scared and ran with their tail between their legs, and they had to relegate women back to this sort of ideal of passivity and beauty. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But, I think it's safe to say that Dan really privileged the aesthetic dimension of the feminine, because there was no sexual attraction for him.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you know some of these creations because you're sort of the steward of his legacy since he passed away. How long was it? 2017?
He passed away in 2018.
2018. He
Yes.
was only 63, and it had a lot to do with low self-esteem, don't you think?
Yes,
Because he was an
believe
alcoholic.
So. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
This was sort of a world that he created, I think, in response to his own marginalization and his desire to stay sober.
Yeah.
It was sort of a way for him to use the term agency, to have agency in that world, and so yeah. So he made these beautiful clothes. Talk about the new look. This is sort of a typical new look skirt, very, very long and flared, and he did just a remarkable job. He was a savant. He did a remarkable job of constructing
such a perfectionist.
these garments. I need some light. I think that's a hook and eye.
His talent was just extraordinary.
Look, he's even got like the little skirt,
Wow.
the hanger that you can put on the hanger, and
Extraordinary detail.
Crinoline.
Oh, wow.
It's even got like the stitching. There's a little ruffle there, and this is just one example of a simple garment that he would construct for this particular muse.
And he probably designed it himself.
He did.
Yeah.
He absolutely did. And I think, though,
I like the fabric.
I know he would specifically choose fabrics that were the appropriate scale.
Look at the detail. That makes sense. So you're not going to pick a huge floral print and have like 2 flowers on a desk for a doll.
And this suit, for instance, this is probably a Jackie O inspired suit. Would be my guess. Some of your viewers may know all of the different clothes that she wore, but you can see the construction of the garment is just incredible.
And the labels,
It's
100%
got labels,
wool, dry clean only.
I mean,
This level
he
of
just
detail is just
went crazy
extraordinary.
with it, and even the skirt has a label and the tiny snaps, and just the whole way that it's constructed is just incredible.
It's art,
It's art.
I've been reading, and my viewers recommend books for me. I've been reading on embroidery, and this artificial distinction in line that was drawn between painting as art on the one hand and embroidery as craft on the other. And it's totally artificial.
This, I think, is remarkable because he managed to get the plaid to all meet up.
Oh my gosh.
It's just beautifully constructed.
level of perfectionism
level
is just
of
awe-inspiring.
perfection is crazy. It's just crazy.
And I think a lot of the makers who are among my subscribers, you know, they can relate. I mean, you just have this desire for like a kind of ideal attainment of orderliness and accomplishment, and it provides a lot of satisfaction apart or like beyond the realm of commodification and metrics and numerical evaluation. That's so dehumanizing.
Well,
it's like setting your own standards and trying to realize your own potential.
Well, I think in his case, at least, if he's anything like me, there's just something about creating order out of the chaos that makes life feel more manageable.
Yeah.
You know, and in his case, I think his world was very small. And this was maybe a way to broaden that world by creating this other world that he could engage with freely, but yet to take tiny little scraps of fabric that would maybe be in a box or a pile somewhere and then make something beautiful out of it.
Right.
As opposed to sort of facing I don't know. There just wasn't a lot of beauty in his external world.
He had a lot of horrible experiences. I mean, he went through the AIDS epidemic.
He did.
And he lost personal friends, roommates.
He did.
And he saw the consequences of that illness. And he was attacked.
Yes.
Openly.
Yes, he was openly attacked. He had his finger broken. He had his throat slashed. There wasn't a safe place for him in this world, which is why his world was so small. He would go to work and come home, and that was it.
Yeah.
And there was a certain amount of safety in that. And then in this world, he had a lot more agency. You know.
Yes.
He was safe.
Total control.
He was safe in this world, and he could create these. Here's for the
knitters. Let's look at the one. I have a lot of knitters, obviously, in
There's the one that he knitted.
Look at that. It's a cardigan. Look at those tiny buttons.
Just
see if I can get the light better.
Beautiful.
It's got the ribbing. It's like a 1x1 rib stitch. And the placket. Yeah, what does it look like in the back?
Oh.
And he's got
oh
my
shell.
Goodness.
There's a shell underneath.
Oh my goodness.
And the label.
There we go. Where's the label?
The label's right here.
100% wool.
I mean,
extraordinary. I'm sure he probably used size 0 needles to make that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no telling.
I still have some of his needles and notions and stuff.
I think at a point, there was one point where he wanted to commodify this, but I think
it's tempting.
It's just such extraordinary work, but to really get what they're to barter this for anything close to the value of it is
it's almost like the real value is beyond commodification.
I think the real value in this is the process. Is the process, I think. I mean, some of these he probably collected, but
I want to look at this dress.
Yes, this dress is another plaid creation where the plaid, it's just
trying to get the light right. There we go. Yeah, I mean, he clearly worked hard and very capably to create the alignment of all the lines.
Yes.
And then the dimensions. Did he make the slip?
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Wow, look at that lace.
I'm sure of it, because he did make underwear for her. Let's see what we have in here. Gloves, garment bags, as you can see over here. He made garment bags. I think this was a brassiere that he had made for her.
Wow.
Like, just the dexterity alone.
Yes.
In creating something like this. And
especially after somebody broke his finger.
Exactly.
He still kept going.
He still kept going.
And I think he had a certain amount of pain that he had to work through.
He did. He had arthritis.
Yeah. And he was a tailor at Saks Fifth Avenue until the very end.
Yes, he was. Now this one I think might have been taken after an old Skipper outfit. He liked the Barbie clothes, and I think, or no, this was just a remake of a Barbie dress.
It looks like a prom dress.
Some of the Barbie fans
Look
might
at that
recognize that.
Try to get the light better. There we go.
But again, you know, the way that it's constructed is just really nice. It has like a little undergarment inside there.
Such a high level of perfection.
Yeah. You can see that he hand stitched this hem, and the craftsmanship is just remarkable.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's about making order out of the chaos, like having some sort of outlet for the what some people would pathologize as OCD. But OCD is a typical trauma response,
right?
And marginalized people experience trauma to a greater degree, I think. Maybe I'm wrong
of course,
about that, but,
of course.
But as a
Why
way
wouldn't they?
to so I believe that for him to be in this state.
Again, my lighting is horrible.
Creating these garments, this is a very empowered state in my brother's life.
Yep.
If I showed you other pictures, they would not be so
polished. Yeah.
And so put together.
I still have a lot of his neckties. I want to make a quilt out of them.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. What else should we look at here? So we've looked. There are these wool skirts. The suit. What about some of these turtlenecks up here? How are they made?
I think he made these out of jersey knit.
Oh.
I think. I'm pretty sure. But they snap on, and they're
It's a bodysuit.
They fit perfectly.
Right.
I feel like we should try one of them on her, but it would...
Well, what we could do, I mean, we could try to dress her up and then, do a before and after.
We could. Yeah, she's just a beautiful doll. Oh, here, this is the classic Dior skirt, right?
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
Very classic Dior new look skirt. Very, very classic.
And it's, the level of detail with the straps just to hold it onto the hanger.
Everything about it is beautifully presented.
It's completely ready to wear.
It's completely ready to wear.
Well...
Look, he put the Saks Fifth Avenue label inside the...
Oh my gosh, that's priceless.
This stole.
Yeah. It's got washing instructions, branding.
It's remarkable. It's all just...
Is that like jewelry in that drawer?
This drawer has a pair of shoes.
Okay,
and
so she has all her
purses,
accessories.
But she has a mirror, and this mirror is very much like my brother's own mirror.
That's true. Is it silver?
I'm sure.
Looks like it.
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
that it's silver.
So she has
Nothing but the
everything
best.
she needs to go to work, go out on the town. And in a way, Dan kind of gave Jean agency.
He did.
With these garments that are designed for her to realize her capacities and competencies, her beauty, but arguably also maybe some kind of work or function,
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So yeah. Well, we're going to have more to share about my brother's crafting skills because he really was a master tailor.
He was a master tailor.
He was a master tailor, but he also leveraged his skills to make his own life saner.
Correct. I believe.
More bearable.
I believe.
Because it was hard.
I believe that was the point.
It was very hard.
And that to me was the payoff.
Yeah.
The payoff was this, as opposed to some people I'm sure have seen images of people who have been in the throes of addiction, you know, and they see a transformation where they've sort of come out of it, not cured, but certainly in a much better space. And this is a tool.
That was how he got there.
This is a tool that he used.
At least it worked for a good long while.
Yes, it
It
did.
didn't work in the end.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
Because
didn't
his
work in the end.
what ended up happening was quite tragic.
Yes, it was tragic.
Yeah. But as you guys can imagine, my brother was a huge inspiration for my knitting novels and featuring marginalized characters, and specifically a gay character who struggles to come out to his parents because of trauma that he experienced. And it's hard to write about, but I think it's also really important because it's such an everyday event, which is just, it says something very unfortunate about our society.
Yes.
And us as human beings. So we want to work against that. And Jean, you're fortunate. You get all of this wardrobe to be yourself. Should we try to dress her up and then we'll do a little closer?
Sure.
Okay, let's try it. We're gonna dress Jean up. So now, Jean is all dolled up and dressed for, what would we say?
I think she's going to work.
Yeah. And must be a cool day because she has her mink collar. Of course, this was back in the day when that was okay. Now, I assume that this is actually synthetic fur.
No, I'm almost positive
It's the real thing?
I'm pretty sure it's the real thing.
It's the real thing.
Yeah,
This is the real thing.
This would not be fake. Not in my brother's world.
That's crazy. Because that was what they did back in the 50s. Women showed their dominance over the natural world by wearing mink stoles. Wow. And tell us about the hairdo. So you were saying that
yes,
it's original?
I've researched this doll to try to figure out which Jean doll this is, and I cannot find this particular hairstyle, which leads me to believe that Dennis, who was Dan's roommate for several years, I believe that Dennis did the hair for this doll, because Dennis also made the jewelry for the dolls.
I love the handbag. I've forgotten what brand that is.
Agner?
Yeah.
Agnier?
Agnier. Aigner. I think so.
And they may or may not have made the shoes.
Okay.
I know that they were dabbling in making shoes.
That would be so challenging.
So it's very possible that they made the shoes.
They're kind of perfect. So there we have it.
There you have it.
My brother created this delightful world surrounding the Jean doll. And he has more than this doll, right? There are other Jean dolls. He's got a collection.
Hundreds of dolls.
How many does he have?
At least 500 dolls.
Wow. That's a big investment in his safe world.
Probably not as many of them left now, because there have been some that I've given away to little girls.
There are only so many that you can steward.
So many that I can steward.
It's not your thing.
So, but yeah. And his favorites were Elizabeth Taylor. He loved Elizabeth Taylor and Jackie O and Vivian Lee.
Okay.
Those were his favorite dolls. The Franklin Mint. Oh, and Princess Diana. Princess Diana.
Okay. Well, you guys let us know if you want to see more, if you'd like to see more of my brother's dolls. And we'll probably bring out some more of his creations, because this is, to be honest, this is just the start. I mean, he had a whole interest in dollhouses.
He did.
Yeah. So I think we're going to do some more content. But if you have any specific interests, let us know. We hope you enjoyed this presentation on how my brother channeled his sewing skills in order to make his life better, and look forward to your comments, and maybe you can relate, So thank you for liking and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao!